to the Aboriginal channel. This episode will be another ancestor search, specifically the Shawnee and Ohio Valley tribe. So right here it says the Shawnee are an Algonquin-speaking ethnic group indigenous to North America. In colonial times, they were a semi-migratory Native American nation. It says primarily inhabiting areas of the Ohio Valley, extending from Ohio and Kentucky eastward to West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Western Maryland, south to Alabama, South Carolina, westward to Indiana and Illinois. Now, basically, I'm going to take you over here to a map of Civil War battle sites and say that the Shawnees roamed all over this area right here. Alabama, Tennessee, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland. As you can see right here in West Maryland, right up here, that's where the Shawnees was fighting at. Shawnee was fighting here with the Ohio Valley tribes, the Mingos fighting here, Shawnee all through here with the Cherokee, the Uchis fighting all through here, Powhatans. And the reason why I know that they were fighting there, because when you go look up the Native Americans in the Civil War, right here it says many Native American tribes fought for either side in the war, including the Delaware, which is an Ohio Valley tribe, but they go all the way over to New Jersey, of course, up to Canada, Catawba, Cherokee, Chickasaw, Creek, Huron, Iroquois Confederacy, Kickapoo, Lumbee, Ottawa, Ojibwe, Chippewa, Osage, Pamunkey, Pequot, Powhatan, which they said was no longer a chiefdom or ceased to exist by 1722, but here in the 1860s, they were fighting in the Civil War. The Powhatan, the Seminoles, and the Shawnee. See, Shawnee in the Civil War right here. The first place we're going to look for the ancestors is in the Shawnee territory located in the state of Tennessee. When I typed in Tennessee tribe map, the tribes located in the state of Tennessee, which of course there's more than the ones posted here, but it says the Shawnee were basically in the middle of Tennessee right here. When you look at the Civil War's battles map, it's right here at this dark colored county right here in the Shawnee's territory of Tennessee. It's a place called Murfreesboro, and inside Murfreesboro there's a cemetery called Evergreen Cemetery, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, right here on the map. But located there is what is called the Confederate Circle, a mass grave site. Interred here, some 2,000, about 90% unnamed soldiers are buried in the circle. Now, when it says the Confederate Circle and they're buried in the circle, that lets you know exactly who they are. In Wyoming, at Bighorn National Forest, they have what is called the Medicine Wheel, which is basically a circle. And then down in Miami is what is called the Miami Circle. It says you might not associate ancient mysteries with this modern city, but the oldest permanent prehistoric structure in the eastern United States was actually found right in the middle of downtown Miami in 1998, when an apartment building was demolished to make way for new condominiums. Thus, a battle ensued to preserve the site and keep it in its current location, which ended up costing the state and other groups a pretty penny. Artifacts found at the site led researchers to believe it belonged to the Esquista Indians and was up to 2,000 years old. And in Ohio, they have what is called the Great Circle Earthworks. The Great Circle is a large earthen enclosure that formed one part of the Newark earthworks. In previous videos, I've showed other locations where the circle works and things that resemble circles built by Indians exist. And also I've showed in artifacts where the circle is dominant in shell gorget artifacts. So basically the circle is dominant within Indian culture. On a side note, I have to touch on the fact that they got this picture posted right here of this Eskimo pretending to be an Indian who fought in the Civil War. It ain't nothing but a prop. So I already explained in a previous video of how so many Eskimos got to south of the border in the 1920s repatriation of Mexicans. But how did so many of them get so good at the Spanish language? Which takes me over here to the Wikipedia page called Former Colonies and Territories in Canada. So basically it says the British Imperial government over a century later then ceded the land to Canadian control in 1867 after the Confederation. So let's go down here to the Spanish, New Spain. It says Spanish colonizers had originally taken the lead in the Pacific Northwest coast with the voyages of Juan Jose Perez Hernandez in 1774 and 1775. This was in response to intelligence that the Russians had begun to explore the Pacific coast of North America, with the Spanish considered part of New Spain. So basically, when the Spanish thought the Russians was coming, they got up there and started colonizing the Eskimos with the Spanish language. So in between that time and 1867, where down here it says Canada became a semi-independent federated grouping of provinces and a dominion after the Constitution Act of 1867. So from 1774 to 1867, Spanish people were colonizing Eskimos in the northwestern part of Canada. Right here it says the indigenous peoples of the Pacific Northwest coast and peoples of the Northwest Plateau developed highly structured cultures from relatively dense populations. So that population after 1867 was filtered down into the North American states. And then in 1920s and 30s, they were taken down south of the border. And that's why the Spanish is so thickly inside of their culture. But yeah, I had to touch on that since they got Eli Parker posted up right here as an Indian. Through the history books, which has all been a lie. So therefore, if it's a lie, then what's the truth? If it's a lie, then what's the truth?